Hey everybody, here we have a Diablotek PSDA 320 micro HTPC power supply, 320 watt power supply, and this is the power supply that's in the parts home theater PC. I'll let you have a look at the specs here. Okay, excuse the flickering of my DXG567V camera. I wish I could turn the feature off to where it wouldn't be in night mode all the time. Anyways, I modified this power supply fresh out of the box. I replaced the fan with a better one, and I installed a filter choke to the transient filtering stage on this power supply. And I'm having to re-oil the fan because the sleeve bearing in the fan is dry, so I figured I'd have a look inside this thing. Well, I figured I'd make a video of the internals of this thing after a year of use. This power supply is a little less than $20 on Newegg.com. And I was going to make a video review about it when I first got it. I did actually take video of me opening it up. I actually just taking it out of the box more or less. Though I decided not to upload because I didn't think it was really worth uploading a video review of such a cheap power supply. Anyways, just going to have a look inside this thing. And I got some video of when it was brand new, by the way. This is not on YouTube. Of course, with a $20 power supply, the casing is not going to be very high quality. But anyways, let's have a look inside this thing. And I have to say, this thing has actually held up pretty well after being used for over a year. You can kind of tell it has been subjected to some heat, though. There was just a hair bit of discoloration on the PCB, and the glue that's on some of the components is darkened. That's typical. Right here is the filter choke I installed, soldered it in. Anyways, this is what the internal components of the Diablotek PSDA 320 watt power supply look like. Looks really basic. I mean, normal 300 plus watt power supplies look a little better than this, but this is not anywhere near as bad as some of the cheap units I have seen. I mean, this thing has, it's done its job. I mean, this thing has run constantly. I mean, 24/7, 365, unless the power is out. I mean, this thing has been used for over a year of constant use, and it's done really well. Like I say, I replaced the fan because the stock fan that comes with this power supply turned really slow, and this thing got really hot, so I replaced that fan with something better. This thing has middle of the road capacitors. Cheap unknown brands, but they haven't failed. Normally I don't buy cheap power supplies, but in this case, when I was getting the parts home theater PC ready, I wanted to have a somewhat decent power supply for just a cheap price. And when I bought this power supply, there were no Newegg reviews on it. So it was another chance I took. But anyways, this thing has worked really well. Anyways, any questions or comments? Feel free to ask.